Danita Kilcullen is with me now. This is Adam Taxin. She runs the Tea Party Fort Lauderdale, and that is the longest running, and as many will tell you, the single most effective Tea Party group in the country. It is responsible in very large part for the election of Allen West and of Marco Rubio. And now we are talking about Barack Obama's highly anticipated so-called gun control speech today, which is Wednesday, January 16th. Danita, thanks for joining me. Why don't you summarize the speech and what you thought of it?
Oh, I will, Adam. Mulan Lebe. Amen?
Mulan Lebe sounds good. That's a term a lot of people are becoming familiar with.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, the first thing that really struck me was that poor boy his name is Colin, who survived Columbine, who Obama is using to push his gun control agenda. And the poor children who stood to shield Obama today. All I can think of is that they must have pie-in-the-sky liberal bleeding heart parents who have stars in their eyes for their children, that they would allow them to be exploited in this manner. So I wonder what the letters and opinions from these children actually mean. Does it mean that we have 9 to 11-year-olds shaping our legislature and our country? The conservatives who I know, who are responsible gun-owning American patriots, would not allow their children to be used in this fashion by any politician,
right,
including the President of the United States of America. I heard the first 1 minute of Obama's speech today, and he sickeningly and inappropriately referred to the children who died in the recent Connecticut shooting as gorgeous children.
Ew.
That adjective is normally reserved for women or food, not deceased children collectively.
That's really weird.
I dashed off my radio. I did. I turned it off, right? That was it. I knew I couldn't listen. I gave it a shot. So, from what I understand, 8 of the 23 edicts that were to come down on us, and according to today's Ulsterman report, the edicts became soft suggestions. But anyway, 8 of the 23 are entwined with the Affordable Health Care Act. And so perhaps all this is being ramped up to distract us from the fiscal cliff. I'm wondering where this leaves the leftists who still like their guns, but who voted for Obamacare.
Yeah, Danita, I was going to say, I interviewed Bob Gazzardi of the Liberty blog earlier today, and his opinion is, and I'm not sure he's wrong, is that while they would like to disarm all conservative Americans, it's not necessarily as much of a priority as they are leading us to believe. The real issue is to create a smokescreen, which they've done effectively for the fiscal disaster that's going on under the Obama administration. And Bob Gazzardi said that. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I agree. But don't get me wrong, the president would certainly truly love to take away the guns of a certain demographic of Americans.
Right.
But, but the distraction thing, I mean, that's one of Alinsky's rules for radicals, Adam? Mm-hmm. The left hand and the right hand thing?
I certainly do.
Anyway, it looks as if we, the people, have experienced more of a victory today than a loss, according to Ulsterman. And I'm going with that one. When I read all of the things that he said, I felt that way. I did. I said, oh my gosh, this is nothing like what I thought it was going to be. And so it just appears to me that Obama and his brood of vipers just got it just in the nick of time and pulled back.
But we can't let up. What is your advice as someone who runs a pretty effective Tea Party group? What are you telling the people at home, the conservatives and the non-rhino Republicans? What's your advice?
I'm telling them that we have to write our congressman and tell them to get into the articles of impeachment, because we can't take this. I mean, this is where I honestly believe that we will no longer sit back. I think that we will use the impeachment word, and I'm hearing it. I mean, I think that's what did it, just the people screaming impeachment, and perhaps they noted that some of the congressmen were delving in and renewing their faint memory of the articles of impeachment. So That's what I'm telling everyone. I mean, I'm serious. You know, I was almost disappointed today when it came out so soft because the people are ready.
Right.
They're ready, and I just think that, you know, this just delayed, or, you know, it softened everything, the mood.
It reminds me of when Israel shows its teeth after the Muslims go a little too far, and then there's a letdown in the sense that Israel's ready to kick some Arab behind, and it doesn't happen.
Absolutely right.
So that's
It's
sort
a
of...
very good analogy, and I've felt that disappointment several times.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
well, you have other activities at the Tea Party Fort Lauderdale, and while I have you on, for the sake of people who may be listening in South Florida and want to be involved, why don't you just tell us a little bit of what you have going on right now?
Well, you mean as far as what we're doing in this new 4 years coming up?
No, I mean just plugs for events you have in the next week or two, so people want to get involved. And then...
Well, you and Paul were here last weekend. This weekend we have one of our local guys speaking about the blue carts of Agenda 21. I sat and talked to him last Saturday evening after the Tea Party, and I was absolutely fascinated with the blue carts that they dropped off that are huge, like the huge garbage carts. I mean, the manipulation, this Agenda 21 thing. So anyway, our friend Richard is going to be talking, and we have Dr. Gary Cass coming in, and he will be talking about Islam. And since it is the weekend of the anniversary of whatever, I don't know if it's our, what is it, Roe v. Wade. I don't know if it's that anniversary. Anyway, it's an abortion, a right to life kind of anniversary. So he'll be talking about that as well. He's a pastor. He's out in California, so we're going to be graced with his presence this weekend. And then we have Sons of Liberty coming soon after that. They called recently, and I said, I'm sorry to have no more time. I can't take on one more thing. And they called, and I finally said fine, and it sounds really good. It sounds really good, their answer about how to handle Islam. We are huge on Islam.
Yeah, I know that, and you work closely with Tom Trento also. And finally, how do people get more information about the group, website and email?
The email is Tea Party, F as in Frank, T-L, Fort Lauderdale, F-T-L, @gmail.com.
And is there a website that people can go to?
Yeah, it's www.Tea Party Fort Lauderdale, all spelled out, .com.
All right, Danita, thanks for the time. I'm sure I'll be talking to you again in the next couple of days.
Thanks, Adam. Blessings. Bye.
See ya.